and I try and have 6 lacrosse balls for every player that's on the field. So I coach high school, there's 70 players on the team. So you can imagine what it's like with 420 lacrosse balls flying around the field. I had a coach get a chipped tooth. Coaches get hit all the time. But I've been a part of programs where there's 12 lacrosse balls for 20 players, and you're constantly chasing balls. You're constantly looking for them. To me, it's worth the kid paying an extra $10 to make sure that they have enough balls throughout the year. And do a good ball hunt after every practice, because for some reason there's a million balls somewhere, right? 200. They all disappear.
They do.
Right? They do. But it's amazing. And there were days where we opened up a case of 120 lacrosse balls, and at the end there'd be like 93. And we're playing inside, it's like, what happened? So that's my thing, just get plenty of lacrosse balls. My theory is, if you've got, let's say you've got 20 more touches at practice this year than last year, and you have 20 practices, that's 400 more passes and catches that the players have had. And then if you play for 5 years, right, 400 times 5, what's that? 400 times 5.
2,000.
Pretty close, yeah. That's 2,000. So if you got 20, touches more at practice over 5 years, that's 2,000 more times you're catching and throwing. My goal as a coach is to have twice as many as the second best team. I'm sorry, the second team that has touches. So I want twice as many touches as that. That ball is flying back and forth, and my practices are shorter. Why do a 2-hour practice when you can do an hour and a half, right? At full speed. Because so much of practice is talking anyways. And look at me, I like to talk, I do, right? You can tell. But within practice, have an hour and a half. One of my also, Oregon football. Does anyone watch college football here? Right? You guys know, fastest team in the NCAA, Oregon. Have you ever read about their practices and read about what they do? It's an hour and a half practice. It's the shortest practice in the NCAA. They do it at like 5:30 in the morning, where the brain is working the sharpest at the time, apparently. But they have music blasting the whole time. And they have 25 student managers that hold the football at practice. Whenever they run a play, it's the student manager's job to line up the football as fast as they can so that they can run another play. So they average something like 9 seconds in between plays in NCAA to run them. They run plays, if they run a sweep play, if they run a crossing pattern to the left, where a wide receiver starts out on the right and runs over to the left, they already have the next play lined up so that this receiver's on their left side. So they have their plays in sequence ready to go. Everything's efficient in what they do on offense. So I'm trying to translate that over into the lacrosse area, where everything's efficient in the lacrosse practices. Have as many balls as possible so you have as many touches as possible. And I actually have kind of stations around. So when I draw up a field, so here's my practice field, and we have the luxury of having 10 nets at Cretin. So I don't know what you have there or what, but I have, so this is basically a lacrosse field here, like this, and this is the whole field right here. I'll have a net here, 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 here. So I have them all in stations. I have a bucket of balls here, a bucket of balls here, a bucket of balls here, a bucket of balls here. All stuff kind of set up and ready to go. Now, I mean, does this translate to 5-6? Maybe not, but the concept is there. Like, have your plan in place so that your hour and a half is done most efficiently, right? And have plenty of buckets of balls. The buckets are fine. You don't need a bag. Buckets are, I think they're $250 at Home Depot, and half of them break throughout the year. But so that's kind of the overview there. So going down the practice plan with the passing and catching, partner passing, you can even like circle that. That's what we do the very first thing that we do at practice is partner passing. That's what the first thing they do at Marquette. The first thing they do at a lot of different places. And partner passing isn't so much, everybody, when they first start out playing lacrosse, they'll stand facing the other opponent like this, right? And catch the ball like this. And that's fine. That's kind of what they teach you. So you can see the ball into the stick. What you want to move towards is standing on the side like this and catching the ball like this. So you're ready to catch, and it just moves it quicker. Because if you're standing like this, you got to catch the ball, stop, and then pass, right? When you're catching on the side like this, I can catch it and throw it back easily. And constantly, you're constantly passing to the person's outside anyways. You know, if a player's standing like this to catch a pass during a game, they're not really doing it the right way. And you can, sure, in the 5-6, it's kind of that way, that's fine, but you might as well start teaching this habit when they're younger like this. So partner passing, and also, you want to mirror the other person. So if my stick is in this hand, the other person who's standing over there, their stick is going to be in the left hand. Because you're constantly, again, passing on the outside. You don't really pass it diagonally across. So you want the other person to mirror. So when you're doing the partner passing, one person's righty, one person's lefty. And you're throwing it to the same side. Does that make sense? So get that stick down, catch the ball, and as you're getting older, you want to catch it more and more back here. When you're younger, sure, you can go like this, but get their foot and their body sideways. But they can go like this and catch it, and go back and forth. Also, overhand, everything is overhand. It's got to be. If you throw sidearm, the ball can go this way, can go that way. You know, it can go all over the place. Overhand, you can only miss up and down. So when you're like this, right? So it's overhand, up and down. When you're catching, if you're struggling, choke up. Choke up on it, especially the long sticks. Choke up on it, catch it through, down, overhand. So partner passing I do every single practice, and that's a good warm-up. A lot of coaches don't like stick lines. I love stick lines. Stick lines are when the players run across and it gets their legs loose. So you go from partner passing into stick lines. So stick lines, let's vision this being the line across the middle here. I'll have a line of players here and a line of players over here, like this. And use a line in the middle. So this person runs this way, throws the ball righty. This person catches it righty, so now we're throwing across. We're going, actually, I'll start off, sorry. I'll start off on the inside. So it's righty, righty, inside, where the sticks are on the inside. And so their sticks are basically coming across the line together. So I'll start out with righty, righty, inside. And then I'll go lefty, lefty, inside. So their sticks on the left side. And then they'll stay in this spot, and then they'll go righty, righty, outside. So what I mean by outside is now we're throwing it right-handed like this, across. So the reason why I start righty, righty, inside is these are the shorter passes. They're gonna be about 5 to 10 yards apart. And it's one cradle and move the ball. So when you catch it, you wanna catch it, cradle once, and then throw the pass across. You don't want somebody catching it, taking 17 steps, and then throwing the pass. So you wanna time it so that it's one cradle. Sure, in the 5-6, new players, might be 2 cradles, but get them used to moving that ball quick. And the lines might be about 20 yards apart in youth, going up to about 30 yards apart in high school. But the pass itself is about 5 to 10 yards. So righty, righty, inside, lefty, lefty, inside, righty, righty, inside, outside, lefty, lefty, outside. Then the next one that I do is a ground ball drill within the stick lines. So the person will pick up the ground ball and then throw it across. That person will catch it, throw it back to the person who picked it up, then the person rolls it down. That's a lot easier to describe when we're doing it in person, but the big thing about ground balls is every time the ball's on the ground, the person who's picking it up says ball down, and whenever they pick it up, they say release. So every time it's ball down when the ball's on the ground, they pick it up, it's release. The reason is it's communication, letting your player know that you've got the ball, teamwork. Also while talking, it gets them ready for the practice. So that's all stick lines. I'm sorry, that's within, stick lines. The other ones you can kind of look up. I like the man in the middle drill. The man in the middle is when you'll have 3 players, let's say, players are like this, 1, 2, 3. And there'll be a ball over here, and a ball over here, and one person in the middle here. So the person will go catch the ball from this person, throw it back, turn around and catch the ball from this person, and then throw it back. So they're constantly, the person's coming up like this. This person's in the middle, catching the ball from both sides. This person has it, throws it to the middle, throws it back to the same person. Turns around, this person has the ball, throws it back. So they're constantly going back and forth. So the person in the middle is getting a lot of running in, and the person on the outside are getting the touches as well. So the first one is 2 balls on the outside, 2 on the outside. And then, or I call it actually pass back. And then the second one is pass away. So the second one is now there's 1 ball. So the person might have the ball here. The person has the ball here. And as this person catches the ball from, the person throws it to the one in the middle, person catches it, turns around with the ball, and then throw it to the other person. So now you're catching it. So now you're catching it from this person, catching it, turning around and throwing it this way. So the first one you're catching it and throwing it right back. The second one you're catching it and turning around and throwing it.
How far apart there?
Good question. When you're starting it out, you probably want to be about, for the newer players, maybe 6 yards apart, and then you can move it back to 8 to 10 as it's going on. High school, you probably start at about 10 and you end up going about 20. So I'll start this up and I'll have everyone do it, and then I'll have everyone step back 2 or 3, 4 yards to see where it goes. So I'll do 2 rotations in it.
How many reps before you rotate spots?
Oh, how many reps? That's a good question. I typically do about a minute, the person in the middle. Now for youth, again, if they're not in shape, right, maybe 30 seconds. But get it going quick. And then let them know they got 7 seconds to get set. So the person in the middle comes to the outside, and then they switch. They got to go in a hurry like that.
And if the guy misses a ball, you just keep going, you ever have to chase it?
No, so that's why you have so many balls around. So over here, the person who misses it, the most part is here. So they'll have 6 or 7 or 8 lacrosse balls sitting by their feet. In case they miss it, they can just pick up another one. Or in case this person misses it, they can just go to the other person and get it. It keeps the pace going. So that's when you also have to have the balls on the side over there. So, does that make sense?
And if you're outdoor, then at some point in time, when you get done with the drill, then you say, okay, go gather up the balls? Or
Yep. Yep, so in between drills, ball hunt. Quick ball hunt. Quick ball hunt.
No, you got the wrong number.
But you don't want to interrupt the drill itself to chase a ball. And that's one thing that you'll see in those programs where if they don't have enough lacrosse balls, if this person misses it, now they got to, that person's now missing all these chances to get the touches. And at 5th and 6th, the balls don't really go that far. In high school, they tend to, they tend to go far.
So if you have 20, 25 guys, you try to get them all going?
Yeah, so now you get 25, you got
8 or 9.
eight of them with one person, kind of switch it up, Or you can actually, if there's an extra, you can actually put 2 people in the middle at the same time, if you really wanted to. And then you this person catch from this side, and then they turn around and switch. So
they're all doing something.
Yep, so they're all doing something. And okay, I should even back up. The passing and catching is something that it doesn't matter what position you are, you need to have very similar passing and catching drills. So it doesn't matter if you're defense, offense, midi, right? Defensive midi, you have 1 arm, 2 arms, or 3 arms. Passing and catching, you want everybody doing the same kind of drills. You need to pass and catch and use both hands on it. So, does that kind of make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So now we're, and by the way, the partner passing maybe lasts 5 minutes, right? Before they lose their attention anyways. Passing and catching stick lines, maybe another 10. So now we're about 15 minutes into practice, and hopefully they've had maybe 100 passes so far, right? So I'll have more, versus some other schools, I'll have more passing and catching done in that first 15 minutes than other programs have in their entire day. I'll have more touches. So then you go into the ground balls. Why is that important, right? Balls on the ground almost half the time in these games. Whoever can pick it up. And that kind of gets overlooked, the ground balls, So the first thing you want to do, and actually Duke starts their lacrosse practice, every single lacrosse practice with a ground ball drill. On air, just a person picking up the ball on their own. And then making a move. Putting the ball down, scooping it up and picking it up on their own. So on air means that every single person has one ball. They just roll it on the ground. They go up, approach the ball, and pick it up. And then stick protect real quick. So they do it on air first, and they just roll it to themselves. And try and get it, again, as many ground balls as you can. So, again, ball down and release every single time you do it with the communication. The key to ground balls is, of course, scooping through the ball. So many times you see people stand over it and trying to rake it into their stick. What I mean by scoop through the ball is just kind of scoop through it. Because even if you miss it, the ball goes forward. What you'll see a lot of is the person trying to rake it in, and that's not really that good. You can do that when there's no one around, but when there's people in a battle, if you go like this, you can't. It's very difficult to get that ball. At least if you scoop through it, the ball, if you miss it, the ball goes forward. So that's even a part of a drill. What we do with the defenders on their own ground balls is practice scooping through it, knocking it forward, and then picking it up, right? Or they're kicking it instead of like scooping through it, missing it, and then kicking it forward, and then picking it up. So there's kind of a ground ball progression drill that you can do. First on air, right? On air, on your own, pick it up, and then stick protect, and then roll it down, pick it up again. Then the second one you can do is, it's called an angel pass, knock it forward, and then pick it up. And the third one is you can miss it on purpose and then kick it forward, right? All these you can do on air, on your own. And it's good because it gets kid confidence picking up that ball. Get the backhand low. Too many times you see people pick it up like this. The higher the grass, the lower you want that backhand. You play these tall grasses and some cow passers, and right? You see people trying to pick it up like this, it's not going to work. So you want the backhand low and get down and pick it up. So the second thing is then you see on their own, the players back to back with the ball between the legs. So a lot of times you just have the players literally stand back to back with the ball, right? One ball in between them. And they just stand there and they get ready to box out, and you blow the whistle and they start trying to box each other out to get that ball. Okay, so with ground balls, you cannot push from behind. You can box out, just like in basketball. Get low to the ground, get your butt down low, and get your head low and shoulders low, and try and pick up that ball. Even in the high school where they can hit on ground balls, if you get low, it's very difficult for that person to hit you because your head is so low. If they hit you in the head, it's a long penalty. So get low to the ball and pick up the ball. Yeah.
So, Pat, when you run your drills, do you have all the kids do one drill, or do you have like stations?
I have all in the youth. I'll have all the kids doing one drill. So I'll have, if I have 25 players, they're all doing stick lines at the same time.
Youth is up, what do you call youth? Up through 8th grade, up through 6th?
Yep, anything below high school.
Okay.
Anything below high school. I have them all doing the same exact things.
So my 8th, 9th graders, you probably said that they're all doing the same.
Yep. So now in the ground ball stuff, I'll have the defense match up with the attackman once they do the back-to-back, and the middies go back-to-back, because that's typically who they're going up against. So, but I'll have everybody doing the same drill at the same time. And basically until you get into the shooting drill, because you know defense can shoot, but and ground balls also. There's another great drill out there, and it's 3 versus 2 offense versus defense ground balls. And so what that is let's say here's the net right here. You'll have 2 defenders and 3 offensive players like this, right? And then roll the ball into the middle, and they'll fight for it. And if the defense picks it up, they have to try and clear it. If the offense picks it up, they try and score. So what that does is not only picking up the ground ball, but picking up an awareness of where your defense is, not overextending when you're on defense. Offense using that to their advantage, kind of box out. So now we're picking up the ground ball and then going to the goal.
How far apart would you space the defenders, the offenders, and offensemen from each other?
How far apart they are? About 4 to 5 yards apart. Yeah, kind of, yeah. The reason why is any further than that, you're getting into collisions. And people, you want to minimize the collisions what you can. So I'd rather have them fight for a ground ball with their sticks and their bodies and boxing out. When they're further apart, you're just running into each other. Even by accident, and so you're trying to minimize that in practice. So I try and roll them in there, and there's a good battle. Sometimes I'll just roll it out so that the offensive player can get it. I want to see what they do. Sometimes I'll roll it so that the defensive player can get it, because you don't know where that ball's going. So I'll just roll it kind of all over the place and make them pick it up. But I'll make the attack play defense sometimes. I'll make the defense play offense, because sometimes they might be on the offensive zone. They want to know what to do. Offensive player, when they pick it up, they have 7 seconds to get a shot off. You want this to go fast. Here's why. We want to get them used to picking up the ground ball and then looking upfield and going towards the goal. They did a study, and it goes into the next one, which is transition. About 80% of all the cross goals are scored in transition. So you want to practice transition. It's something we do all the time, is transition practice, transition drills, up and down. It hides conditioning in there.
Pat, is that 7 seconds for the team to score, or 7 seconds once a kid gets the ball? He has 7 seconds to score a pass?
The whole team has 7 seconds. He might throw one pass.
Okay, the whole team has 7 seconds.
Yep. So typically they might get one pass off, or the person just picks it up and kind of goes to the goal.
Okay.
I try and maximize as many shots and transition. Again, that's my style. I'm a transition. I'm going to go to the net as fast as you can and go to the net. And what it also does is allow me to play more middies, because if the game is faster, up and down, it wears the other team out. My team should be in better shape. That's also an Oregon football thing. If they get 100 plays off when the average game gets 60, the defense is actually playing another quarter and a half. So the defense is more tired. So when I play my lacrosse style, I try and get as many goals, try and get as many transition, move the ball as fast as possible. You know, it might not work in the beginning, but again, over the course of the season, it'll get a lot better.
What about with, some of the younger kids we have, obviously they want to shoot. I mean, what's kind of an acceptable range that you want your kids?
Great question. And there's a lot online about this. So with an attackman, you really want to be no more than about 6 yards above the cage and 5 yards wide of the cage. Anything wider than 5 yards as an attackman, you're not giving yourself a good angle. An attackman typically dodge from the wing or from behind. So there's actually called an island, and that island is 5 by 5. So you want your attackman to get to 5 by 5.
Excuse me, sir.
So on offense, you want your attackman to get, it's 5 yards wide, 5 yards above. You want your attackman to either dodge from the side or behind. And in practice, I'll actually have these 4 cones there, where the attackman got to dodge from behind, get to that spot, and then make a move to score. So it's called a 5 by 5, it's called an island. You want to dodge to that spot. Middies, you want to dodge, the younger players, maybe 8 by 7. Somewhere, about 8, actually younger, about 8 by 5, let's say. 8 by 5.
Wide, 5 up.
8 up, 5 wide. Sorry. So the first one is 5 by 5, so it's about 8 by 5, 8 yards above, 5 yards wide. As you're getting older, it'll go to maybe 10, like when I was doing the 7/8s, it was 10 by 7, right? 10 yards above, 7 yards wide. And then high school now is 12 by 7. So there's a little bit of a guide there that you want to get. And the trick is to actually have your attackman put maybe a piece of tape on the field itself where 5 by 5 is, so that they can look at the ground and know where the net is by looking at the piece on the floor. Because you don't have time to look at the goalie, look up and down, So I just put a little piece of tape there and I said, try and get to this spot. If you get to this spot, you can turn around. You know where you are on the field. So that's an offensive type of thing. Transition, I'm going to go into this, the West Jenny drill. You can look online, pull that up, West Jenny drill. It is the best drill in lacrosse. We do this every single time. Every single practice. And how I do it is I make my kids yell the whole time. They cannot stop talking to West Jenny. It gets everybody excited. Now, it's more of a high school thing. I did it with the 7th and 8th graders. But they're yelling the whole time, and everybody's excited. You just go up and down, up and down. And the premise behind that is you got 3 players on offense, 2 on defense. So you have, the ball's in the middle, the wings are coming up. So we have 3 players on offense attacking this way. The person in the middle has the ball. The person goes right down the middle, draws a slide. The person that throws it to one side The defender then covers this side. So 3 people coming down, draws it to the defender, picks a side to throw it to. This person gets it. This person comes over here and covers them. This person then throws it across to this person. So it's a typical 3-on-2. Whoever shoots it, or the person go out of bounds closest to the ball. So if this guy misses the pass and the ball goes over here, it's dead. This person drops off. These 2 people who just ran down are now playing defense. So it gets them used to running down, going on offense, turning the ball over or scoring, and then running back and playing defense. So it's constantly 3-on-2 back and forth. So you'll have to look that online to see what it's like. The key thing is, make sure that person with the ball draws a slide and moves the ball one side or the other, and then that person throws it across. The first time you try it, it will be a disaster. The second time you try it, it will be a disaster. Keep at it. Keep at it. They did it for like an hour and a half. We'll do it for an hour and a half, and these kids will love it, and they'll run up and down the whole time.
Is that a drill we could do, like we've got, what, 6th and 7th grade this year?
Yeah.
No, where, 5th?
6 and 7.
6, 7? Is that something that's
Yep.
good? Okay.
I did it in 5th and 6th last year.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. I do it every single time. Shooting drills. Look up the Salisbury YouTube videos. You'll have many, many shooting drills on that. And everybody can shoot, and everybody can do it. And where do you want to shoot? Every single time. You want to repeat this to your kids. You want to shoot high to low, so that your stick is high, and you shoot overhand, high to low. What that means is your stick is above your head, and you want the ball to end up low. That's high to low. And then part of the net you always want to shoot on is called low and away. So if I'm standing here, here's the net right here, and I'm dodging, here's the net, and I'm dodging here. Low and away would be on the opposite half of the net, down low. So if you're looking at, all right, so that door right there, right, pretend that's a goal. And I'm standing on this side, and I'm shooting, low and away would actually be this quadrant right here. So if I'm standing like this, I'm actually going to shoot for that lower corner. So I'll have a cone in this part of the net the entire practice. So the kids are constantly trying to hit the cone. If you're shooting on this side, low and away is over there. High to low, because goalies are taught to match sticks. You get your stick up high, the goalie brings their stick up. Throw it low and away. Bounce shots are encouraged, but low and away is better, just about better than a bounce shot. So does that make sense? I wanted to say Idaho. Idaho is what we use to pass the ball around. It's kind of like a hot potato. Constantly what happens when you get the ball from defense to offense, right? The person holds on to the ball, they look around, they don't know where to go with the ball, right? You want to move the ball, move the ball, move the ball. Well, you didn't tell me how to move it, you know? So Idaho, I'll go through this drill with the players outside, but it's basically you want to move the ball around the outside, and it teaches them to do it. So the first thing, and it's a build-up, like passing drill. So there's 5 players, and if you look at an offense, it's going to be 2-3-1. Typically there's one in the middle, but we're not going to use this for this drill. The ball starts over here. Everyone has to V-cut. A V-cut is when the person pushes in to their defender and then pops back out. So this person throws the ball down to this person who V-cuts. He catches it on the outside, spins around. This person now V-cuts and throws it around, right? So it's constantly a V-cut. We're pushing in and making a V. That's something you got to teach the players, what a V-cut is. And almost to the point where if you back it up, have the ball stand there and have one at a time go down and then come back and make a V. And then catch the ball and then go to the back of the line, pick up another ball, you know, make a V. So you're gonna have 2 coaches with 7 kids over there in the beginning of practice, teach them to pop in, push out, push in, pop out, and do a V cut and pass the ball. So I'll go through Idaho there.
And yep, we've got the 25 guys
Ready to go?
ready to go.
Plus one right here?
Plus, yeah, a couple here.
Okay. And then the last thing is just end with fun. Make sure, again, something that the kids remember the first thing, they remember the last thing. They might not remember so much in between, so make sure you end on a high note and have them enjoy themselves. And be loud and have some fun. So hopefully, you know, I'll probably need your help going through this or what have you. I'm going to pass around my, and actually Diane has those all downstairs as well. So, and these are the drills that I use basically all the time. That's my core drills that I use that I'll be going through. And here's some brochures. So, does that make sense?
It's a 2-pager.
Yeah. I don't know too many people on the campus yet. Oh, he does? Yeah, we got some good athletes coming in there. And by the way, you guys should have these. These are good for defense. Defense people normally play with their stick. When you use this, it teaches them to have their hands together and use their feet. So you want to play defense like this. So all this is broken stick, right? Or I have some wood ones over there. Somebody cut down and put it on.